I want to go over a quick overview of what we can see transpiring so far in the crypto market. It seems to be taking that same pattern here, as this would be the eighth straight Sunday that we just end up falling through. And it seems that they're assaulting the crypto market on Sundays when the futures market is closed before we can get the ETFs back online on Monday morning. So we'll see if we can power through it today. But to start it, this started off as the eighth straight Saturday or Sunday where we've had some volatility to the downside. We've got VThor down over 6%. We've got XLM down better than 4%. HBAR is down about 1.6%. VChain's down 1.7%. ZIL's down 1.7%. XDC's up 3.6%, which is nice to see. At least something's pushing opposite. Ethereum's pretty flat. IOTA's down 2.6%. Algo's down 1.4%. AMP's slightly up. VELO's down about 5%, but had a nice move yesterday. So it's pretty up and down. There's one I want to talk about today, which is in the IoT. It's only got 2 billion total tokens, but it's a very powerful token within the IoT. And I've actually been building into this position. I think I'm up over 400,000 tokens now. The problem is it's on the bottom side of this descending looking wedge, but it has an inverse head and shoulders formed here. So we'll see if it powers back through. But that's one that it's on a new low. It made a new low. And it just looks like it's in a weird spot here. So I've been trying to find some in the Internet of Things that might still stand the test of time, that actually have some kind of volatility, that's in a favorable position. But I don't know, because the whole market here on Sunday, we have to look at it from the standpoint of we have had some downward volatility on Sundays. It's been rather interesting how much of a downward spiral we've taken on Sundays. But it does appear at this point that they are using Sundays to do their biddings. They're really starting to do some biddings on Sunday. And gets interesting. I'm just gonna post this about the live, because some said the only way they get it is if I actually post it if I share it when the live starts. But we're gonna go through a lot of stuff here for XRP, for some of the other cryptos, and just to see from an overall standpoint where we're gonna go on Monday. Shane, welcome in. Mario Louise Willamese, good morning. D, welcome in. Crazy Paul and Jorge, thank you both for being in Tom's Army. UK Phil, thank you also for being in Tom's Army. I really appreciate that. And Jorge, thanks for being a mod. I really, really appreciate that. He says, hit the like button so the algorithm can do its thing. Good morning, Tom. Yes, indeed. Hit that like button. It does help. Some people are getting tired of crypto right now, which is completely understandable. We've had some wild manipulation here, and it's been so volatile one way to the next. I'm hopeful that on this Sunday, that XRP doesn't start to fade down, and we can start to play out of this short-term descending wedge. Yesterday, we had a great live yesterday morning before I went and seen my mom and whatnot. And we talked about the short-term, the long-term, and we had this pegged. So if you look at this, we have this descending wedge, and we talked yesterday about if they do bring it down on Sunday, that we could possibly, actually it's down at like $2.10. I was thinking 224 at first, because of where we were back here, but I miswrote in the title. It should be all the way down like at $2.10. We could come all the way down to, if you actually look at this, this could be, we don't want to lose that $2.41 area. I created this for a reason. This is the make it or break it point. If this is creating this inverse pattern, it's either we're going to come back down and try to bounce over this line, but if we're below that downtrending resistance support line, this is like a support that is now acting as resistance, we've got to be over that $2.42.8. Right now, we're below that, so that could make it for a volatile swing. But I would like to think that we're playing out of this descending wedge, and because we bounced down here, maybe we can just fly out of here and push up towards that $3.19. But we'll get into this. We'll look at the optics. We'll look at what needs to happen for us to avoid a drop for an 8th straight weekend. I know some are already dropping, and they have not avoided it. Like XLM hasn't avoided the drop. VThor hasn't avoided it. There's been a few that, well, it's basically red. But I would like to think as long as we don't fall and lose this $2.42 area, I would like to believe XRP can have volatility to the top side. I do have this separated chart for a reason. Because I wanted to show if we do create that neckline there, it would start. Basically, this is your neckline forming resistance, resistance. And now if we can use it as support over here, it'd be a perfect time to take this top side and then rally up. But that's going to be your make it or break it line to see if we have to have a further consolidation before the breakout. If not, and we start breaking through, well, we've got to hold certain areas that we know of. But we'll continue to, we'll discuss this further as we go. We know we're in a broadening wedge. It's just we're in this little descending wedge breakout formation from the short-term drop and consolidation. And we're trying to reverse the pattern. It's just going to take a little bit of work to be able to actually do this from a fundamental standpoint. So I'm not surprised the ETF news hasn't pushed it through. But with the ETF news, the only way you're going to get ETF-driven money is when the ETFs are open. So, yeah, we got some news at the end of the week last week. 200 wallets hold 98% of XLM's supply. I did not see that. I did not see that. Is it uncommon? Maybe for 98% to be held by 200 wallets. That's pretty extreme. I don't know if I buy it. To be honest with you, I don't know if I buy that 98% of XLMs and 200 wallets, but if the data's there, the data's there. So that just doesn't seem right to me. But if that's the case, it's institutional driven, which I guess wouldn't be so big of a surprise knowing that they made a deal with Ripple. I know a lot of people don't acknowledge it, but the fact that Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson and Jed McCaleb made a deal to make basically XRP 2.0 for the smaller investments. And then they had a strategic, I call it their own strategic reserve, where they allow Jed McCaleb to allow so much per month. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that data. That's just me being honest. I don't believe that XLM has less wallets controlling the majority than XRP does. It doesn't make any sense. But I mean, hey, to each their own. I haven't done the data, so I can't unequivocally say that that's not true or not. But I can say from my personal experience, that seems far-fetched. Kind of seems like a way to get some views. Hello, Tom. A beautiful day to thank God for our blessings, including crypto. Absolutely. Don't forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ here on this Sunday morning. Absolutely agree with that. Gonna go up and see my mom in a little bit. She had her surgery Friday, but she's been doing good. Slowly but surely recovering, and it's good to see. Some asked about ZIL. We'll get into the technicals. Because right now we're on a little bit of shaky ground, but I don't think it's all too bad for a Saturday or a Sunday morning, to be honest with you. I don't think it's all too bad what I'm seeing so far. I'm actually rather excited about talking about MXC. It's Moon. It's the what's the best way to describe it? We'll get into it, but I got to do the intro too. But for anybody who doesn't know what MXC is, I actually think it's one that doesn't get talked about a lot in the IoT, the Internet of Things, and the total supply is only 2 billion tokens. What is it? 2,664,965,800 tokens, and the current supply. I know I get excited about certain tokens when they start hitting lowest of lows, and this one hit the lowest of lows. The current circulating supply is 2.664 billion, which means MXC has a total market cap. So there's 2.664. The max current supply. I want to see MXC current supply, but it's seeing it did it as the max supply. I think it's like 1 point. This is Moonchain, but 2.44 billion tokens are currently circulated, and only 2.664 billion will be released. So that's pretty much the majority are in play already, besides 200 million tokens, which is good. That's a good thing. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index this morning is at 46. Ooh, that is very exciting. That is very exciting. I like seeing that. And the only reason that I even bring up this is because it is on the lowest of lows right now. And then if it breaks down, it's going to give a major opportunity even further. But we are on a little bit of a descending wedge, but it is on the lowest of, if this falls out, I mean, it is already pushing the downward spiral. So, but that's something that I want to try to remember to talk about. So I'm trying to encourage myself to remember that today. I forgot to talk about it yesterday. So anyhow, let's get into the intro and then we'll get into this. Good morning, 9:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, February 9th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. That is a lot of cool comments. Anti-communist, take a day off, recharge your batteries, Tom. Last week, think you were artificial intelligence. No. I don't take days off. Program who never ever. I'm good. I'm actually pretty good. I work best with my work when I'm dealing with a lot of stuff on the outside. This is just my comfort zone. I don't like to take days off. I've been doing this for 4 years in March. I've had many highs and lows in life, but I never miss a day. That's just something I do. And I just like being here. Like, I like doing this. It keeps me set straight. It allows me to keep looking at what's going on in the market. And then I get to communicate with the audience. It's just something I like to do. Gold, Blue, and D, they're having a fantastic recruiting right now. Fantastic. They said we'll never be dominated by money again. So we're going to be the most, I'm telling you, we have the biggest funds available in college football, period. So, like, we weren't spending money like a lot of the SEC teams in Ohio State for years because we just didn't believe in it, which I was so mad about. But now that I told everybody, once we start spending money, it's going to look a lot different in the stratosphere. So that goes for Ohio State too. They're going to keep spending money too to stay on par. And now the SEC is just going to have to deal with it. Anyhow, staying in crypto, I still think this is a very important structure right now. Very important structure. Because I still think that we have a better than not chance of coming down here. I didn't have the breakout target until down here. I really thought we were going to backtest this descending wedge. I was hoping yesterday to come down to like that 220. Now we've got ourselves in an area where, you know, if we overrun this a little bit, because I'm trying to look at the drop. Let's just say we have a volatile drop. I mean, that could bring us down to like 205 even. I would prefer for it to hold this 242. I would. Because then we reverse this resistance that's essentially acting as a neckline. It's all on a losing. Julie plugs Tom in it. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, that makes me happy. Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe so. Maybe when I do go to sleep, I'm being plugged in and I just don't even realize how much. Because you can also look at it like that, but I don't think that's appropriate. I really don't. I think because if you're looking at this as a wedge, you have to look at it as a wedge, and it would be something like this. I mean, we could make it fly out, but I don't think that's relevant. I think it is set up like this. Anti-communist, he must have an arc reactor for powers and be an android that never sleeps, but his brain keeps calculating crypto. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But so from the audience, we have 189 people still staying dedicated. That's incredible. You're going to notice slowly but surely people are going to fade away from crypto. That's what we need. We need less people. The less people that are interested in talking, the more from a macro perspective it looks good. But this from a micro perspective in the morning here, if I didn't know any better, I would say this is trending in the exact same way the last 7 Sundays have. That's why in my title I said, are we about to drop, or are we dropping for crypto, XRP, Bitcoin dropping for 8 straight Sunday? Because it seems like that's what's going on. I know the Super Bowl's today, and I'm probably going to lose money today, but I'm betting against Kansas City. And I'm betting on Philly, so we'll see what happens. I have a budget built up to like $417 in that account, and it'll be all letting it ride probably on Philly, so we'll see what happens today. We'll see what happens, but I definitely, we'll see. We'll say the Swifties die today, and there will be no three-peat. As Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Absolutely. That's exactly what I did. I became greedy when others became fearful. And I actually, before I forget, MXC, because I know I'm going to forget. This is one from the IoT, if you're interested in the Internet of Things. It's got 2.6 billion total supply, or the max supply. Right now, we've got 2.44 billion in circulation. It's down at the lowest of lows right now. So it's had a pretty remarkable downturn right now. That made it relevant for me to talk about now. And since I try to find steals when we're having an interesting time in the crypto market, my eyes are always working. My eye is always working since I can only see out of one. But I'm always looking for opportunity. And right now, the fact that it's on the bottom side of this, we got one of two choices here. One, this is going to fall out like you've never seen fallout before. And then it's going to have to reevaluate itself down just a little bit farther. But it's running out of areas. So being in the Internet of Things, I really don't know how much lower this can go. I'm just glad I decided to wait to see how this pattern started playing out. But when it fell out and created it, because it looks like a little descending wedge formed. It really does. And if that's the case, we're coming into the sweet spot here in this cryptocurrency. Now, if the Internet of Things falls out, which I think it would be kind of bizarre for this to just go to zero, seeing that it's a big player in the IoT. It doesn't have any initial coin offerings or anything like that. It has no startup fund. It's done it organically. So I'm looking at the ones in the Internet of Things that I really think can go places. Now, let me get a different chart out because I was using this one yesterday on my phone because it was easier to see with the data-wise. But on my tablet, I think this is the one that I had... this is the one that I started to use on my tablet. Oh, no, this is the one that I had out, isn't it? Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, built from the back. No, this is the other one. This is the one I need. This is the one I was building on my phone. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know which one I had here, but this doesn't go... No, I was using this one on my phone, but it doesn't go all the way back, so it was easier for me to do this. So I'm going to delete this one now so that we can all see the other one that I was working with on my tablet. This is the one I was working with. And then I actually uploaded the other one from my phone, but this is the one I think that you'll be able to make a much better decision here because it actually is the entirety of the pattern, and you can see how we've come back to the support structure, the all-time support. So support came down here to support. No matter if it broke all the way up or down, broke up or down, it stayed in this little support structure. So now it's finally fallen outside of this, and it's time to make a decision here. Like, is this where it finally makes this unbelievable reversal? Looks like it's got a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders possibly. Or does it get rejected here and fall down? And if it does, you're going to probably flip a zero. And then I'm going to be all over that to an even higher extent. So this is where I started to get interested. These descending wedges are typically bullish reversals. However, it's struggling right now at the exact area it's in. And I think everybody in my audience, if you're interested in the Internet of Things, pay attention to that particular crypto. Like I said, 2.44 billion tokens in supply right now. There's only a max supply of 2.66 billion roughly. So a couple 100 million more to be put in circulation. That's it. So I think it's rather interesting, and it doesn't rank amongst the top. It's back there, and like as far as market cap is concerned. I actually have it on crypto.com. So for that particular one, if you're interested, it's actually surprisingly it wasn't available on some of the other ones, but it was available on my crypto.com account. So if you're interested, on the video description below, or in my pinned comments, I should say, my homepage, it's right there on crypto.com. Just remember, use their newly put in thing with the limit order so you're not paying the market prices. I'll tell you right now, there's about a 3.5% differential if I would have done a market buy on this on crypto.com compared to the limit order. The limit order saved me just about 3% per token. So if you're buying on crypto.com, they updated their servers now to have a better limit orders, and it worked much better, and it just got implemented about a week ago. So if you're doing it on crypto.com or any other exchange for that matter, never ever do a market order. Market order is always going to get you paying between 1% and 3% more. Always do a limit order and set it to where you want it. So if you're looking at the chart, look at like the 1 or 5 minute and try to find somewhere where you could see a likely consolidation happen. Put that limit order in and then take advantage of it on the lowest of lows instead of getting it on the market order where they're going to charge you somewhere between 1% and 3%. It doesn't sound like more if you look at it, but on $1,000, 1%, what's that? 1% of 1,000 would be, what is that, $10? So that'd be $10. 3% would be $30. $10,000, you're talking about a $300 difference if it's at 3% compared to the limit order. So that's with everything I use. That's not just a HOTCOIN or crypto.com thing. That's BITUNIX. That's hot. You want to do the limit orders. Limit orders. If you're new to crypto and you're trying to buy spot, do not do market orders. You will always get taken. And yeah, you might recover it very quickly when the market continues moving up in your favor. But at the same time, you're missing out on, even if it's a few hundred tokens or a couple tokens or one token, it's your token. So anyhow, that's where I've been buying that one. On crypto.com, I have 400 and something thousand tokens right now. Let me take a look. And then we'll continue on our way. But I want to get through XLM as well because XLM was starting to have a little bit of movement yesterday. But we're still not out of the woods yet for these descending wedge breakouts. Like, we're looking good. Tom teased both teams with the over. I'm not sure about the over. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the over bet with it or not. I'm thinking it's going to be a straight bet, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if the over-under is going to hit. I have a feeling if Philly wins, it's going to be the under. But I could be completely wrong. That's just an analytical approach that I'm looking at. I have 420. Oh, well, I should have known. 422,200 MXC right now. So, and it was bought very close to where it's at. I don't like the optics right now on Sunday morning. So far, I do not like the optics because there were certain levels that I had set up that had to be broken to where we could avoid a drop on Sunday. And right now, it's making me a little uneasy that XRP has come right down through this make it or break it neckline here as far as not having to reconsolidate. This just doesn't feel good to me. Looks like an engulfing to the downside. Now, however, this could technically form a bullish hammer here in the 3 hourly. And now it's important because this weekly candle, and I mean this daily, is not helping us at all. The weekly is trying to pull up, but the daily needs to continue pulling here. It was trying to help us, but now it's come back into the wrong range. We made a new... It's not helping us if we don't continue in a new high. Now we could fade to a new low. I don't want to see a fade here. How about a 4-teamer, 12 points? Let's box it in. Ooh. That's interesting. Good thing Moon Energy switches very soon. I know. Sola Jeffy, I know. And isn't it funny that MXC one is MoonPay? Or what is it? Moon something. I always say it wrong. So I always go back. Moonchain. I always say MoonPay, but it's Moon. I don't know why. I don't know why MoonPay is in my head, but every time I say it, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But the moon chain for the moon, for the switching of the moon, I don't know. But it's interesting. I think crypto is very interesting this morning. Like, let's go to Bitcoin real quick. I know we've been having a fun time this morning. I'm having a fun time. Even though we're having this another Sunday where it looks red as can be. But Bitcoin, again, still is in the same formation. Bitcoin still is teasing 122,000 if this doesn't break down. Just like the technical breakout target when we first broke out of the initial cup and handle. Then this formed, and yeah, it kind of looks like a jank cup and handle, but it's still there until it's not. If it breaks down, 74,900 is on deck. But right now, it's still showing positivity. The fact that it maintained this through the weekend so far, and yeah, Sunday is usually the worst day of the weekend. I get it. Last week was brutal on Sunday. Some fell like 50%. But Right now, it's like this holding pattern, and it feels like every single weekend we wait until Sunday to see exactly which way it's going to go. It's pretty interesting if you ask me. Like, we've got this death cross here in the 4-hourly, rejected at the 200-day earlier in the week on Friday. Today rejected at the 20-day. I mean, there's nothing I'm looking at here that's giving me any positivity. Reversal candle in the 4-hourly playing out the way it should in the next 4-hourly. Unless somehow this pulls up in the next hour and 20 minutes and forms a bull hammer, we got some problems here to start the day. We've got problems to start the day, unfortunately. When we look at the XRP Bitcoin pairing, it still gives you a lot of optics, a lot of hope, especially from the 4-hour time frame. Nice bull flag still set up there. It still has in the weekly a golden cross that we back tested. It's going to take a minute for this to form. That's why it's not just going to be a right away out of this area, but that's still trying to form a bull hammer. I understand the weekly ends in 9 hours and 20 minutes. It would be in our best interest to close at least above this low. So get back above 2574. The closer we could get to 2825 would be a huge, anything over 25. What is this? Anything over 256 would be back and not creating a new low. But the golden cross in the weekly is telling us from a macro perspective, these micro numbers are just that. The macro is looking great. Unless we give back 183, the macro is looking very good. Don't forget to subscribe to Tom's channel for the best TA on YouTube. Oh, I appreciate that. Wesley says, I'm in it for the long run, baby. Me too, my friend. Me too. The way I look at it is I'm not looking to sell out of my crypto unless it was for profit-based reasons because I bought so many and then I want to take my 1x back that I put in so that I have no financial holdings. So I have over 10,000 tokens of XRP, but I had so many over that I was able to get my initial buy-in back and still be well over 10,000. Like that's the only way that I'll take anything back. And the reason I do that is so I can go into things like, another IoT token that I believe has some value here and real utility. I like MXC. I do. I like it a lot. I like Moonchain. And man, oh man, I can't get over the fact the prices of some of these Internet of Things tokens. The only thing that they talked about in that meeting that we were all watching, we were waiting for them to talk about crypto, was the Internet of Things. That's the only thing they talked about, which was pretty important if you ask me. No chemtrails in skies past 3 days. Oh, that's awesome to hear. That is awesome. This is ICP is a big token in play in this. Now I know it's a little more expensive, and it's one that I would like to start diving into, but it is definitely in the Internet of Things. ICP is the what is it? The I was just reading deeper into this too. But it's got extreme value. It's in the Internet Computer. That's what it is. Internet Computer Price, ICP. But yeah, it's a nice one. It's actually a really nice token. Their supply right now is their total supply is 528 million. Circulating supply is 479.4 million. So 44.4% of total supply is staked by token holders. So think about that. There's a lot of it being locked up right now. We've talked about ICP token. It's one that I am a little disappointed not having. But yeah, it's definitely one. It's definitely one that has value. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. I've actually charted this for a long time, and I've been trying to wait for some kind of opportunity. And it did come back down to this. I was hoping, and this is just my own bias, I was actually wait a minute, what is this? I was gonna say that doesn't seem right. I was hoping with my own bias, that's better, that this would break this. I was gonna say that looked like VELO's chart, and it was. I was hoping with my own bias this would break down, and that I could buy it much cheaper. And I don't know if it's going to, but it all depends how these patterns in the actual broader market go. And there's no way it can break down like that. So I don't know. You're gonna have to take it from a tighter spot here, because if you broke down from here, it would just go to zero from how big this setup is. So, and I don't believe this is going to zero, but it's very hard to chart to see where it's gonna go next. If it breaks down, that's for sure. The only thing that I could see technically is if I did it something like this, but still, look at it. It's only got so much room that it can come through here. So you got to be very careful when you look at charts. I think probably like it's so difficult on this one because it would be so low on a breakdown. So I keep getting stuck with something like this. Last time I came up like this, but I suppose if I'm being honest like that, and then it could get down to like 395. Man, I need a different chart. I need to see a different chart. They're all the same though. It had such a big drop down that it's going to be very hard. There's a few of them that are just very hard to do the technicals on because there's not a lot of give. There's not a lot of not a lot of places for it to move is what I'm trying to say. It's already reached a level where you can only go so far. See, I do like ICP. It's just I don't like it where it's at, if that makes sense. I don't like it. Oh, here we go. This is much better. I just don't like where it's at. I still feel like it can come back down. See, that's the problem. I feel like it's going to come down to the support. Likely. That's why I can't get it right now. But if this comes down, that likely means the rest of the market probably isn't faring so well. They're tough. The market's tough right now. It's really tough. Because that's where we're at right now. It's in something like this. I feel like its support floor would have to probably be around $1.75. Only having a 500,000 token supply is interesting. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see how that works out. But I could definitely see which one was I using right there? I don't remember which chart I was on. Bybit. So I'm gonna keep this on here just in case this does come through, because at $1 something, I would be in on this. That's not a lie, Whales, Josie Whales. It's not a whale, or that's not a lie. Let's see, ICP fastest. Who's secret? So that's that with the ICP. That's where I would be interested in ICP, is if it gets down to that around that $1.70 level, and I'm not gonna budge. I won't budge at $6. Everyone laugh out, even the streamers say not to say anything, just wondering why. Everyone laugh out loud, even the streamers say not to say anything. Can I ask a genuine question? Why is everyone secretive about their crypto? I am not secretive about my crypto. Don't say everybody. I am 100% transparent. The other streamers are secretive because they don't hold the crypto. Did I tell a secret? They're just trying to make money off of you, so they lie. So then we say we can't show the crypto because people will steal it. Oh my God. No one's stealing your crypto if you're not sharing the proper wallet. I'm just saying that's what's going on in crypto sphere, crypto land. I own, for anybody who's new, 30,000 algo. I own, well, through Julie, because I sent it to her, she owns our Doge. I own over 10,000 XRP, 30,000, what is that? At least 30,000 XLM. DGB 1.3 million. XDC, what is it? 15,000 right now, but only because I don't like the exchange, so I won't buy more. ZIL, 200. Let's see. I'm not afraid to say what I own. I've been doing this for like 4 years now, and I've been doing this through the cycle in 21 before it started pumping up to get everybody in. We sold out the market top, didn't buy back in until the market low. So, I mean, without transparency, what is there really? Like, if I'm an influencer, which I don't consider myself, I'm just putting out historical data. You guys look at me as an influencer. I didn't think we'd ever get this big. Axel, I have 12,500 tokens. HBAR, 20,000. Theta Fuel, 100,000. ZIL, 300,000. IOTX, 140,000. Zebec, 2.3 million. VThor, 422,000. MXC, 422,000. Canto, 61,000. VChain, 30,000 plus. Jasmine, 40,000 plus. Tether, nothing. But then I have other things too that are staked and yada, yada, yada that I like to hold in the staking. So yeah, but I'm all about the IoT and ISO tokens. So unless it's something that catches my attention, you really won't see me investing in anything other than the IoT or ISO. So that's the way I like to do things. And then I have Paxos too, the Pax G that I'm building up, but that's something different. That's for the gold side, but that's like $6,000 worth of Pax G. But then I have commodities and things like that. I have silver and gold bullion, physical bullion. But then I have B2 Gold, First Majestic, Fortuna Silver Mines, and Barrick Gold. So 2 mining stocks that are silver, 2 mining stocks that are gold. It is not a far stretch. No, ICP is one with only 500 million tokens that when if and when it finally starts to have its rally, that is one that can do magnificent things. When you have less than 1 billion total supply, especially half of that much, you actually have a lot of room for noise. So we went through XRP, we went to MXC, we went to ICP. So we've gone a little different route. I want to look at Zebec real quick because there's a lot of people that are interested but still have to pay attention. I have to show this every time. If this breaks down, the technical drop down could be all the way to that 0.0000 82. That's like an 80% drop. So you have to be attentive of that right now because technically we could be in a bearish pennant. But I'm looking for this retaliatory move back up to resistance. And if it drops out, then I would make a much bigger pitch here at what I want to own. If it made that big drop down. But until then, kind of got to use this little structure that it's in. Until you break down, you're in this consolidation, or until you break out. It's in this consolidation in the closest area. You'd want to be buying it as close to 0.00076 as possible, because that would be the sweet spot if it doesn't break down. And then if it breaks out, you'd want to be, or if it doesn't break out, the sweet spot to sell would be 0.014 unless it breaks out. So that's where we stand right now in Zebec. And I'm fascinated by it just because of like how it moves traditional finance into the digital finance. But, just bought over 100,000 MXC. Can I ask you a question, Matthew? What intrigued you about it? Is it just because I bought it? Is it because it's in the Internet of Things? Or is it the fact that 2.4 billion of its total supply of 2.6 billion is already in circulation? That's what intrigues me the most. The fact that all of it's in circulation for the most part. Let's go into XLM now because I've been going back and forth. It's almost been 40 minutes now. Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. XLM, struggling. The best I can put is it failed to hold its area it needed to. And right now it's trying to break out of the short-term descending wedge. If it comes back down to hit it again, I'm trying to see the exact area. But I have this targeted where this arrow is. I'm just trying to be more efficient. That was the first arrow. But this is where I put it yesterday. So if it comes down, you'd be looking at something like 29 cents. I really feel like these are going to backtest this broadening wedge. And if we're meant to break out, it'll happen after Sunday closes, after the Sunday candle, into Monday when the ETF comes online. I just feel like it's unavoidable here on Sundays. I feel like we're so far ahead of this now that it's not scaring us. But when it was at 248 yesterday, I said in my update, I believe I put it in the title, expect a better than 5% drop before any kind of rally. XRP looks poised for, whoops, what did I say? Because I did a couple of different things. Oh, that's poised, but will Bitcoin, crypto tank for 8 straight Sunday? XRP teases 30% rally. That was a day ago, but may drop 5% back testing the descending wedge. It's actually a little bit farther than 5% because it pushed out to 248 first, which could make this a much bigger drop than just 5%. 5% if it would have dropped from the spot it was at, but since it came up to, what was it, 240, 251, it's going to make for a bigger drop, even though today's candle is only down about 1%. But from the top, it would have made for more. But just from here, I mean, this could turn into an about 11% drop. Now, if it comes all the way to 212, just the way that this is setting up, I mean, you could even pull this. Let's see if we can make this a little bit higher just to see. Maybe it is something like this instead. I don't like that, though, because that's the top wicks. And if you're looking at it as a wedge, you'd be looking at it more like this. Or, yeah, see, I just don't like it. I like it better like this. I think it gives you more of the history of the chart. I do. I think sometimes you've got to look at the history sometimes. However, I could see this as well. Ah, damn it. That's the wick parts. And I could certainly see that. Yeah, you know what? If we're being... That's where I get the 224 from. That's where I got that. Well, it was from up here. That's why I put that in the title, because I was looking at the wicks. Interesting. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly why I put 224 in the title. So forget that. Forget the $2 and whatever. Let's take it from here. Let's take it from right there. Let's say we come down to 220 area. I think that's better. I think that's actually more efficient. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Because you can see the resistance. Right here it was a resistance. Then it broke out. Then it used it as support, backing out. Maybe it does. I like that a lot better. Still a descending wedge. It's just I think that resistance is in it. That's why I had it like that. I've been debating it, though. I've been debating it within myself. Because I could also make the argument that if it broke that down, see, you could, if you started here, yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. So there are two ways to look at this. There really is. So if it breaks through there, we can look at it like without that top wick, and it could be something like that. So we'll just see. We'll see. Maybe 220 can hold it. If not, that 210 area is very much in play. I would prefer for 220 to hold, just being understanding of what we're looking at here. You don't want to keep teasing it too far down, because then if it breaks through, then we're talking about that $1.82 area with that fair value gap again. So, but I think we're on the money there. I think we can see what's going on there. And if we hold this area, we're going to have some nice volatility. I'm talking this out with each and every one of you now. Considering you're in the know, it'll be good to hear your opinion. I like that. XLM down 3.05%. We did talk about the fact that we could get this nice bounce here. Looks perfectly set up on a descending wedge. I would not be shocked if it came down to 29.6 at all. Going back to basics, the statistics don't add up with how much Bitcoin is bought to how many are released. I have another question. 3.125 Bitcoin. Oh, I want to read that. Got to read that as well. Well, remember, Bitcoin is being manipulated right now by some of the biggest of players. So like Micro Saylor, doing what he did with MicroStrategy and leveraging the whole company to buy Bitcoin and then pay their holders in Bitcoin rewards, basically, to make it look better on the books. It's a suave move by ones like Robert Kiyosaki coming out and saying he's going to get rid of all of his gold and silver for Bitcoin. You get sleazeballs and sleazeballs like that coming out, which I've said Robert Kiyosaki's basically a fraud now. He's a shell of what he used to be, but I don't even think he was much. I think he was lying about it all. The more I've done and the more research I've done, he put his dad on the hook when his dad was actually a big player. He was not just part of the union. He was the head of the union. He was a very rich man. He invested and made it possible for Robert Kiyosaki to do what he was doing. And I personally believe Robert Kiyosaki made all of his money on fleece heisting and chasing his audience in these stupid, what I would call pyramid schemes when he was talking and doing speeches. And that's where he gained his wealth and lied about it. And the more I research him, the more I understand what's going on. And the reason why I'm more willing to talk about him as a sleazeball is because he came out and told you to sell your gold and silver for Bitcoin, which is horseshit. If you want the worst store of value on the planet, buy Bitcoin. If you want real store of value and money, buy gold and silver. Your store of value is not to be fucked with. Don't put it in crypto if you want a store of value. So, absolutely. And if you look at Robert Kiyosaki's book, he actually stole it from a lady. I won't say her name or go any deeper, but you can do your own research. He actually stole her idea. They worked together, and then he fleeced her out of it. So there's a lot not being told, the truth of it. So when I see somebody openly trying to switch a transfer of wealth and screw over a huge population, I'm not happy about that. I learned a lot from different parts of his books just because it talked about the tax code and things like that. But once I found out it wasn't even his own words, I learned it from somebody else and gave him the credit. See, that's the bitch part of all of this. You know? So, but yeah. But that's why somebody brought up Bitcoin. That's why. But a lot of different, even Mike Maloney, he's got Alan Hibbert on there all the time, and he's telling you why Bitcoin is the best investment. And it's like all these people coming out to tell you Bitcoin's the best investment. There's a reason they're telling you this. I believe Bitcoin is shit. I would never own it. I also believe they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, tell us to hold all this Bitcoin instead of utility tokens, when really I believe, I think there's more. I need to read more of his question, but I believe there's more reasons why all these big influencers, where they're trying to use us as exit liquidity, they really are, and I'm not sure what the mass plan is here in the end, but I do know where that retail is being used as big liquidity hubs, and it sucks, especially for the ones that don't understand how crypto plays. I want to read the rest of this comment though. So Jack said, I have another genuine question. 3.125 Bitcoin is released every 10 minutes when the blocks update. All the Bitcoin has been bought. So how is the U.S. government on about buying 200,000 Bitcoin when there isn't any left? Because the way I look at this is they're acting like they're buying it, but all they're doing is using the reserve that has been taken as far as like fraud and things like that from Mt. Gox and all these different raids and stuff that happened with drug enforcement and all this, and they took the capital of Bitcoin. I think what's going on here, and this has been my own speculation of why I think if we do have a wave 5 that I'm out, because I think the U.S. government is actually trying to make a big top here, and then they're going to cut Bitcoin down like 75% as they sell out with their Mt. Gox holdings and things like that. I don't think they have any plan of making a Bitcoin reserve, just to be honest. I think they're going to make a crypto reserve, but I think the Bitcoin side of the reserve is to pay off the national debt, or at least the interest. So they've got to artificially inflate it. But think about it. It's gone from 15K to 90-something thousand right now. So I think they're artificially inflating the price of Bitcoin, especially so that the U.S. government can sell it out at a local, like the high top. And instead of taking 15,000 per token, I think they're going to take 122,000 per token. And I think that's when you're going to see the big volatility. I really do. I think if they mark this up to 122K in time, because it's going to take time, I think that's what we're setting up. And I think the U.S. government is going to sell the hell out of this, and then we're all screwed. And we're going to go into a multi-year bear market after, until 2028, I believe. That's my own personal understanding. Now, if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. Because a multi-year bear market puts us right on track to 2028. Doesn't mean XRP has to go back to 50 cents. In a multi-year bear market, it might have a floor of 91 cents, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it does go down to 4 cents or 1 cent. But me personally, I'm watching this at a very high level because I do believe that's what's happening. And then the other reason why I think that we're having a rug pull coming, did anybody see what Barron Trump said about Ethereum? Out of curiosity, or what the Trump said about Ethereum, to buy it now or you'll regret it. So, you know, this reminds me too much of 2021. This reminds me too much of 21, how we had once the top happened, it was just it was just an anticlimactic moment, and it just Eric Trump. Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say Baron. Eric Trump. I don't know why I said Baron. Eric Trump. Thank you. Who corrected me? Jorge. Thank you for that. I don't know why I said Baron. Eric Trump said it. You're absolutely correct. Oh yeah, I got to finish reading that question. Jack said, it's so relieving to hear you answer that. Thank you. It's just the statistics don't add up and everyone avoids laugh out loud. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you for the $5 donation. You did not have to send that. But I do appreciate the pay it forward mentality. I try to be as honest as I can. But remember, my own honesty is what I understand. So like what I know and what somebody else knows, my truth might not be somebody else's. So what I believe to be true might not necessarily be the same, Jack, as what somebody else believes. But I do put a lot of patience and a lot of integrity into my work. So I do try to learn every single detail. As far as details, I'll give you guys a big detail of why I don't believe this market can just unequivocally break down yet. I know we can go down, but I don't think we can unequivocally go down to the lowest of lows yet. And I'll tell you why. If we just look at the XRP chart, for example, we've got things adding up that you don't see very often. You don't see very often. So in the short time here, let me just go into the 24 hours so you can see where we could be heading towards liquidity zones. So in this the short time, you can see below us here, we've got a little bit of liquidity, 34 billion. Nothing major though. You're not seeing any major liquidity in the smaller time frames. You got some they could certainly go pull at, but it's not crazy. But now when you get into the monthly, this is where we have to pay attention. So you're damn right about that, Florida. You are darn right about that. This audience is awesome. You guys actually know some stuff. That's a nice descending wedge that we're breaking out of. We could possibly back test farther down. But if you look down here, 174 billion, right? So there is some liquidity that could be tapped. However, in any of your guys' understanding, have you ever seen the market where you've got this much liquidity? All right, let's start it with the 500 billion. Let's get so at $3.23, XRP has liquidations of 530 billion just at $3.23.09 for short traders. That means $530 billion would be ripped away from retail. Remember, the wealthy, unless they're trying to make money off of you and I through commission or some cheap way of promoting some kind of program or something, they're not doing leverage trading. I can't think of many people that have millions and millions of dollars that would actually be stupid enough, and if you are one of these people, I apologize, or not even stupid enough, but be at a point where they'd be willing to risk it with a 2x even, because remember last Sunday, even on a 2x, you got liquidated. But I can't imagine if you had $10 million to throw at a trade that you're going to put it on $10 million on a 10x trade. Because most people that are trying to make a $10 million trade, maybe they only have $1 million. That's what I mean. Like they're going to do it in a different way. Maybe they're going to do, $10,000 and do 100x to try to make it a big time trade, to make it $1 million trade. I don't see many people with $1 million just doing a, $100,000 10x trade to save some money, because then they're risking 10% of that million for no reason. So I believe this is a way to get rid of retail. And right now there's fear in the market, right? It's in fear. The fear and greed index is in fear, which means you should be looking to buy. Look at this, $530 million. And then you come up here, you've got trillions of dollars, like trillions. By the time you get up to $3, and it's still, look at that. You can go all the way up to $3.58, and there's still $203 billion in liquidation. There is a lot of liquidation. John Sampson, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation and being in Tom's Army for well over 3 years now. I know nothing's changing anymore, but the Diamond Hands badge is the last one, which they're supposed to be the new one at 4 years, but YouTube is not updating the badges anymore, which is weird. Ever since they updated it in the new year or late last year, and they tried to do this vertical thing, they screwed up the, it's not changing the members of Tom's Army. I don't understand. I don't know when we're going to do a co-stream. My brother has been out of town for 7 years. working, and now he's back home finally. It seems like to stay. So maybe sometime in the future that can get done. I think it'd be epic. I think it'd be cool. Okay, the heat liquidation map. Okay, so all you need to understand is when I'm talking about liquidity up here, so if you understand the leverage market, so if you're making, let's say you have $500, you're doing a long trade or short. In this case, you'd be taking out a short for us to discuss this. So let's say you're in a short. Right now, for some of these shorts to be liquidated, their liquidation price is at $3.23. So unlike spot, even if you're down 50%, you don't have to worry about losing your position. On a leveraged trade, so let's say you took out a trade for $1,000. And XRP right now is at, let's see, we'll just say we're going to take out, how about this? How about this? This will be easier. XRP is at $2.41. We have $2,400. We can buy 1,000 tokens. Now, instead of buying 1,000 tokens with $2,400, what some people decide to do is they'll take out a 10x trade with $2,400, making it a $24,000 trade, making it to where you have 10,000 tokens instead of 1,000. That comes with heavy risk, however. By making it 10 times more tokens and 10 times more value, there is greater risk reward, but the problem is now you only technically need to lose about 8% of real market value to go 100% liquidated. So what happens here is whether they have between 2 and 50 or 100 or 150x leverage, at $3.23, there's a factor of $530 billion in money, whether it's from 2x and on, that gets liquidated by these particular individual holders that adds up to the overall amount. And that would mean $530 billion in totality would be liquidated right at $3.23, which means those leverage traders who are going short, their position is not just shut out because of stop losses. These are liquidations. That means they lose 100% of the position. So that $530 billion that gets lost at $3.23, imagine if they, instead of shorting it, would have just put it towards the asset of XRP. Even if it goes down 50%, at least they don't lose it all. So that's the risk reward when it comes to leverage trading. Why I don't like it, because I've often spoke of, even if a 2x trade, you could lose it all, and that's what happened last weekend. Really, Ripple commercial. So yeah, that's what's going on here. And then if you go up even higher, you can see that liquidity doesn't stop. That liquidation, you got 580 billion at 343. You go even higher, you've still got plenty of liquidity up higher. It's pretty intense. 349, you got 339 billion. Why wouldn't they use a stop loss? Well, some cases stop loss fail, but you've got to remember, if you're a leverage trader, stop losses are designed to kill you. They're designed to kill you. If you're going to do a leverage trade, you've got to pretty much let it hang out there. I can't tell you how many times in the past when I actually traded leverage that I would have a 5 or 10% stop loss just to see it take out the stop loss and immediately reverse. It's by design. Stop losses, the only reason I believe exchanges have them is so that they can take them out. It's an analytical approach. So when you have trading bots, you need stop losses for them to target areas of concern, of areas of leverage, and areas of liquidity. So I don't like to trade stop losses when I'm doing leverage. I haven't traded leverage in some time now, but I don't like to do that. The stop losses are designed to strategically get you pushed in the punch in the nuts. What did Cool say? Ripple might have a fancy commercial for the Super Bowl. Okay. I was wondering what somebody was saying about the Super Bowl, but yeah, Randy, that's why some wouldn't. Especially the high profile traders, what they will do, they will take out, instead of an isolated margin or isolated leverage, they will take out what's considered cross margin. So then if it goes down 50%, instead of getting liquidated, they just have a bunch of money to the side. So what I've seen a lot of people do, I've seen 50x traders that'll have $50,000 in their account and only use 10,000 of it in the trade, just so that they've got some liquidity if it has a drop. Listening to Tom is dangerous unless you are listening and truly understanding his words of wisdom and advice. Take notes. I agree with that. I actually agree with that. What you just said. It can be dangerous to listen to me if you don't understand. But I'm still feeling decent about this because we haven't given it away yet. God, if XRP could just not get rejected here and pull through here, we could be targeting something big. And like I said, according to the charts, I don't think we're meant to break down overall yet. Even if we had a breakdown to 220 or 210, I don't think it's done at all. I really don't. I'm very positive that this is not done yet. And if we don't get a wave 5, so be it, and we get kicked in the nuts. But from everything I know about technical analysis, it's not done yet. It can't be. Nothing has hit its technical zones yet. We just got to get through this Sunday. Got to get through this Sunday. So with all the liquidity points set, it's going to be difficult for the token price to move past the big liquidity targets. I don't disagree with you, but remember, because we came down and took the lower liquidity first at $1.70 all the way down to approximately $1.78, we don't have the lower liquidity. So what we could do is use that lower liquidity to muster us back up to that 340 zone and then take that liquidity to push us into wave 5. So you got to remember that. That liquidity can be used because all the short traders will be taken out. It can be used as rocket fuel for the push up on the long for the wave 5. I'm telling you, that's usually what happens. Not telling you ask the question, but I'm telling the audience. Generally, when you take out the liquidity zone down below first, then you usually will take out the upper liquidity zone and use that as jet fuel or fuel to push up for wave 5 now. That's what I'm expecting if it goes into that zone. I do expect it, though, to pull out of it probably down a little bit because once you hit that massive liquidity, you will have some kind of correction. I just don't think it'll fall out likely. Now, that could be a true double top area. So, Kendrick Lamar going to sing an XRP. Oh, Christ almighty. I take Tom's advice and apply it to all cryptocurrency. Absolutely. Nothing is out of the realm when you're... But I have to get going, guys. It's been an hour and 2 minutes. I got a lot of stuff to do today. I got to go see my mom soon. I do want to go see my nephew's basketball game at 12:30 as well. Go from there to go see my mom. So I'm going to let this be here. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Pay attention to everything. I'm not a fan of Luna Classic because on Luna, they rug pulled everybody and switched the name to Lunk. So just be prepared for that. But when it's got Mojo, I mean, pay attention to the chart. But I'll see everybody later. Thank you all so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it on this Sunday morning. I will have more content today, I promise. Thank you, everybody, for the prayers for my mom. She's actually doing really well. They took out between 8 and 10 inches of her intestinal tract, rerouted her intestine to her colon because she had very bad diverticulitis. But she's good as new. I mean, in 4 to 6 weeks, they say her diet's not restricted anymore. And it's as if she's been given a second chance. And there's less than a 5% chance for it ever to go back to how it was, even if she has the worst diet known to man, which she might have. And she's really skinny, though, my mom. She's in great shape. She's 63 now, or will be 60. Wait a minute. What is it? 2025. She'll be 63 this year. But my mom looked very young looking at heart, too. Our family, I think we age with grace. So, but yeah, so it'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, have a great Sunday, everybody.